Can the captive be retrieved from the talion, or the prey be retrieved from the warriors? Yes, for I shall contend with those who contend with you, because this is the work of the Lord. This is the story of one who was in captivity, in bondage, in chain of the enemy, but God rescued me. Welcome as we celebrate Yahweh for delivering me from my predictor, the enemy Satan. And now I am free and I celebrate the Lord. Shalom. Praise the Lord. My name is Paris Kenyanjui, born in Nakuru County and raised there. Went to school from class 1 to class 8 there. And I'm the second born of 8 kids in the family, being the first girl. I am a mother of 2, a single mother, and I thank God for the far that I have come. Yeah, I decided to give this testimony because once I met this girl who was suffering from the same experience that I had, and I just encouraged her. I told her my story, and I told her that she too will be delivered from what she was suffering. So this girl was suffering the same problem that I was suffering. And I told her that I had the same experiences that you had. And I started explaining to her how I went through deliverance, how I was helped, how the tactic that I was using in prayers, the lifestyle that I started changing so that I can get the full deliverance. Because my deliverance took 13 full years, because I did not know how I would handle the situation. I would sometimes find myself going back to the same things that brought me to bondage. I would continue the reckless life until one day I started listening to the men of God, women of God that explained the reason behind struggling attacks, and that brought my full deliverance. And also thank God, because there was a woman of God who stood with me for my deliverance. She was there day in, day and night. Sometimes I could even call her tonight and tell her what I'm experiencing, and she would pray with me. And I thank God because she was there. But I also had to pray my part, live a righteous life, pray my part, start praying, start reading the word, start understanding the word, seeking help from men of God through media, through YouTube. And I thank God, even them recording those medias helped me to know that everything is possible through the blood of Jesus. And I would quote Isaiah 49 verse 25. The Bible says, "Can the captive be retrieved from their warriors?" And the Lord is telling us, in fact, it is I who will contend with those who contend with you. And I was saying, the Lord is fighting this battle for me. The Lord has a good plan, according to Jeremiah 29:11, that I have a good plan for you. So being oppressed by the enemy, being oppressed by the devil, it is not part of his plan. His plan is for us to have a peaceful life, to have a happy life. Because in Isaiah 53, the Bible tells us, he bore our sorrow. So any other sorrow brought by the enemy is not his plan. And I started the journey. From 2023, I started the journey. I really need freedom for my life. And I would sit, listen to the word of God, pray, and apply the strategy that our forepeople, those who are before us, who use the same method to fight for their life, and I use the tactics, and I can tell you for sure, now I am free, that I can feel that I am alone. Before I continue my deliverance process, let me take you back to where bondage started. It all started when I was a very young girl. At the age of 6, I was sexually harassed, and the person had no mercy. He was a relative, a very close person that the family would trust the person, but he sexual lust, and it was such an experience. It was on the road. I can remember we were heading to Gikomba. He used his fingers and even pooped on the road because such a painful experience. Now from that henceforth, I became dumb. I could not talk because he had threatened to kill me and maybe my mother. If you ever say anything, I would slice you into pieces and throw you to the toilet. So as a child, I would fear. And these things did not stop there. He continued as the years go. So I developed a lot of fear. I developed a lot of hatred, and I became dumb. I could not tell anyone. I could not share. But inside me, I was burning with anger. I was full of bitterness. And again, when I was in primary school, my classmates bullied me a lot. They harassed me. I had nowhere to go. The only person that I could learn, it was my sister. And mind you, she was my younger, so even that shame that I am going to my younger sister for help, though sometimes she would come in and fight for me, but it was not a good picture that the elder is being protected by the younger one. So I would remain silent, remain dumb, with bitterness, with anger inside of me. The other person that I could rely on was my mother. But my mother was very busy looking for food, school fees, because our father had abandoned us a long time ago. Though he was working, he never took responsibility of us. So I would think, now I am bothering my mother too much. She has a lot of things to say. So I would remain silent. I remember in my young childhood, I never asked for anything. If I was given a pen, I would only ask a pen if the one I had is out of ink, because we were using a fountain pen. So from class 4 to class 8, I remember I only used one fountain pen, and I was very careful with my things. I thought, let me help my mother for this. But I never thought that the more I've been harassed, the more I'm facing a lot of challenges, the more I'm not expressing what I'm going through. I have no one to talk to, no one to share. I've been afraid that I will be killed. All that bitterness accumulated in my heart. And let me tell you, one day as I finished my class 8, because I never proceeded to secondary school immediately, I stayed at home for a very long time. I remained there. I started developing now revenge mission. I wanted to revenge. I wanted to kill someone. And that's, I took a journey and went to Nairobi to look for a gun, a pistol. I want to kill someone. I want to kill someone. I want to take someone home before they take me. So I went to Nairobi. I remember I went to Dandola. I had heard so many rumors that Dandola, there are a lot of drugs there. And I thought maybe I can get a pistol there. So as I went, and in a month's time, had met this girl, and as she was telling me, I told her I need a gun. And she told me, that is easy mission. You only just want to join us as we accompany the van, carry the gun 2 or 3 times, and then you can be given a pistol. And I was saying that's a very good deal, because now when they give me the gun, I'll go kill the person. My mission was start from the leg, slowly, with no hurry. But I thank God, because in his chambers, he was looking and say, you girl, I have good plan for you. That girl introduced drug abuse, and she told me, you need to smoke a weed so that you can handle the gun. And I was like, no, I don't smoke. I am not buying the smoking thing. I just need the gun. So the next day as she was coming to take me, I never answered her. And maybe she thought I am not around, but I was in the house. I was silent. I didn't want to take a weed. I had witnessed people getting mad because of drugs and whatever, so I was in fear of that. And of course, I had seen my father who was an addict of alcohol and some drugs. How we had suffered because of his lifestyle. his selfish lifestyle, and I thought, I don't want this. So I thank God the girl introduced drugs, and that was a deal breaker to me. So I didn't take the girl. And I continued suffering within me. Sometimes I would train myself to fight with the rungus, I would fight beating sacks, doing all sorts of what I see in movie, so that I can train myself to fight. I really tried. And of course, all my anger, I brought them to my sibling. Yes, I could not be the one person who was supposed to die, but now I started beating my siblings. If they only made a mistake, it was my turn to revenge. And that life, I must confess, it was not a good experience. And I apologize for that. I ask them to forgive me if they only hear this. But I continue. I remember one day, I met this young man who was Hardison, young black man, and I thought, yes, maybe I can get married. Now because I'm not going to school, and this guy is promising to marriage for me, maybe I should get married and run away from home, because now I have no gun, I can't kill anyone. Maybe marriage is the next strategy. And I was strategic. I had so many suitors who came on my way. But there's this young man that came, and I thought, wait a minute, this guy, they love school, they love education so much in their whole family. So I thought, maybe this is the right guy. And I give in to him. Unfortunately, he wasn't there. He was just playing with my life. He wasn't serious. In fact, I came to learn later that they had betted with my life. Someone to pregnant me and then get rid of me, and he succeeded. But nevertheless, I left everything to God. So I became pregnant before marriage. And now, because his mission was accomplished, he denied me. He even confessed before my parents he never knew me. And I was like, wait a minute, you are the only man that I've ever slept with. How comes now you don't know me? But all went. I had no, nothing came even to my mind to abort the child, though he even suggested that we should abort, but I never bought the idea. And I was like, what if I lose the only child I have within me? What if I die in the process? So I kept my son. And during the pregnancy time, it was very difficult for me. Everybody was against me, my father, my mother, my siblings. I thought I was in hell. So I learned to my aunt's place. And there I stayed maybe 2 months. And then my mother also, she was pregnant with our last born. I went back home to take care of her during my sister's birth, and I remained at home. So I gave birth to my son. And after some time, I had to go back to Nairobi, now this time to look for green pasture so that I can take care of my son and my sibling, our last born. So I went to Nairobi, look for a house girl because I was a class 8 leave out. I look for some work here and there, here and there, here and there, and sometimes I would send the money home. Sometimes because there was no money transfer, so I would send somebody who is going home to take the money to my mother. And some even they kept the money for themselves. People are selfish sometimes. But I thank God as I continue. So after maybe like 4 years, I thought maybe I should get married now. But the same process. Altars, let me tell you, altars speak. Altar will cause you remain the same situation. This second guy came, he knew I had a son. He never objected that, but he never took care of us. And again, the same trade. Now I have my daughter. He is not in our life. It was so hurting. And I think he even wounded me more than anyone else. And if I had power, maybe I would kill that guy. I felt suicide. I felt killing myself, killing my daughter. The first time, remember, I never thought of aborting my son. But the second time now, the voice of the enemy was so loud that I wanted to kill the girl in my womb. And I remember I even went to the doctor's clinic. I queued up, and then a voice spoke to me. Paris, would you for once trust me? Don't you think I can give you favor with your children? And I thought, maybe I'm running mad. That was the very first time I heard the voice of the Lord. And the second voice, he asked me, am I not the same God who gave favor to Esther? And I was like, who is speaking? Because nobody is speaking to me. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's a voice speaking to me. The third time, the voice said, get out of this place. And I ran away. I went home. I cried. I cried and cried. And then during the night, I heard a voice from outside. It was a moon day, so everywhere was light outside. And I heard a voice. Out of sleep, I heard, Paris, your blessed one. And then I look outside, there was no one. And I thought, am I really going crazy? But let me tell you, as I have said, the voice of the enemy, we tend to hear the enemy more than the way we hear the Lord. So after that, after maybe a month, I said, no, if I could not abort, let me kill myself. Now suicide thought started coming up. And I remember I was brought in to just throw myself in a high bridge. So I planned, as my brother was going to work, I too will follow him. Before he arrives at the work, he'll have messages that the sister is normal. But that very morning, my brother called me before he went to work, and he told me, Paris, I know you're pregnant. And I know it's very stressing, but let me tell you, do not dare to abort that baby. You may not have any other baby. Maybe you only have the 2 children. And I was like, what are you talking about? I've already plotted my death. What are you speaking? And I cried, and maybe he thought maybe I cried out of stress. But I was crying because now my mission is aborted again. Why are you telling me this? And I stayed there. I asked God, why are you not helping? But every move I make, you are there blocking it. You are there to tell me I have a future of tomorrow. So I thank God I never aborted the girl. I never killed myself. Of course, that's why I'm here. So I decided I will not live with my brother because he was married. Let me go and join my mother at Murang'a. I decided to join my mother at Murang'a County, and life was not easy. So the devil did not leave me there. He expected me to kill or commit suicide, but now because his mission had been thwarted, now he started sending diseases. And 3 times the enemy tried to abort my girl out of diseases from nowhere. I went to labor ward 3 times. The doctor would tell me, you are not in labor pain, you are sick. So you'd give me medicine and go back home 3 times. I experienced that struggle. But I thank God, at the long run, here comes my beautiful young girl. She was beautiful. Everybody admired her. So I continued, like when she was like 1.5 years, God now intervened again. Now,
That's why I come across a well-wisher, our mom here, and she took me back to class. For 10 years, staying at home, I went to high school. And high school, I was fiery for God. I thought, you mean God can bring me this far? You mean God can take care of me and my children? You mean God can give me another chance? And as late I was, I went to school and I managed. I was passing with flying colors, and I was like, wow, God, you are so kind, you are so loving. And I came to understand, no wonder God preserved me all along. But now here comes the challenge. And that's when the devil sees you, you are fiery for God. He starts looking for the loophole that he can use. For the first time, now I started experiencing some attacks, some challenging life. And I was like, wait a minute, I love God. I do not fornicate. I do not steal. All these things, why am I being attacked by the enemy? And I remember the first time that I was spirit-filled. But I'm spirit-filled, but I am manifesting other things that are not godly. At first I thought it is God using me, but at the end I felt, no, this is wrong. Because I would forget. Maybe somebody would have told me some story, and then I would forget whatever they have told me. And I would manifest that as maybe let me call it divination. I fall for divination spirit. And it was so hard for me. I hated myself. I cried, Lord, how do you allow the enemy to use me this much? I love you. And I remained silent. I remained silent for a time, a long time. I remember during that time, the very first deliverance, the devil almost killed me. It was such a hard experience. I thought maybe the pastor hates me. And that's why she is saying I am being used by the enemy. And I remember that night I asked God, if it truly you are the one, please confirm it. But if it's truly the devil, I reject him. And as I said, I reject the enemy. I felt something fall from my heart to my stomach with a very loud voice of boom. And I knew now I am finished. I cried the whole night. I made a phone call very early in the morning to call my pastor to come and help me out. She took all her time. She came in the evening. And mind you, the moment I had the vehicle on the gate, at the gate, I was dying again. The enemy wanted to finish me before my deliverance started. And that was the very first time, I think 2011, 2012, that is when my first deliverance journey started then. It was not easy. I hated deliverance. I hated them. My nights were long nights. Nightmare after nightmare. Being molested by the demons night in the dreams, being molested. I would feel like someone is coming, oppressing me at my neck. Sometimes lying on top of me that I cannot even move. It was such a night. I hated night. I would cry. If I would think of night, I would cry. I continue in that. Demons chasing me, demon molesting me in my dreams. I hated to sleep. I hated dreams. Hated everything. So I was slim, had a lot of stomachache, pains. Pains was all over, and that's how the devil inflicts you. The devil survives in your pain. So you inflict pain to survive. And that was not a good experience at all. I hated everything. I hated food. I hated people. I started developing hatred to people. I thought everybody is my enemy. and I continue. And the journey did not stop there, because now the enemy was honoring the anointed man of God, the woman of God. And then he would wait me at the gate telling me, you have legal right. I am supposed to be here. So you can imagine, he is waiting me at the gate. So the only time I am at ease is the time that we are there with her. But the moment I moved out of her presence, the enemy is oppressing me. I hated. And sometimes I would fear to tell her what I'm going through, because I would think, would I still continue the same process, the painful process of deliverance? So sometimes I would tell her, I'm okay. But in fact, I wasn't okay. It is that pain was too much for me to handle. I was in bondage. I was hopeless. No one would save me. Let me tell you, deliverance is not about the pastor alone or the minister. It will require your commitment, the person in operation, to commit themselves for deliverance. So I would walk out of there. The process continue, being oppressed. Let me give you some of the experience that I went through during that experience. One, I would feel as if someone else, or maybe something else, is controlling me. And one thing that I would know, I would feel inside me, like in my heart, that there's something else different from the normal station. Like for now, I feel like I don't have that thing. But during that period, I would feel that there's something else I would know. And again, when I would watch the sermons on television, I would feel as if something else is watching with me through my eyes. I would feel, and sometimes I would even scream as I see miracles happen, and I would know I am not alone. Another thing, as I said earlier, I was being molested in my dreams so many times, and at some point, I started now molesting in the dream. I started doing whatever the molester was doing to the others in my dream, and it will traumatize me so much. Something else, I would feel fear at night, a very strong fear that I could hold. I hated even switching off the light at night, so they would always be on because of that fear. Something else, as I would go to toilet, I would feel like something else want to eat the poop. And this would traumatize me so much, because I would feel, what is this now? So I continued that battle after battle. I developed a lot of anger, bitterness. All this came because I would not forgive. I wasn't a forgiving person. The Bible tells us, forgive so that you'll be forgiven. So my sin was not being forgiven because I wasn't ready to forgive others. So, and sin attracts demons. And this demon had a right to be in me, to live in me, to do whatever they want. Sometimes I remember an experience that I felt that as if I'm running mad the whole day. I talked the whole day, and I would tell God, please bring me out of this. Bring me out of this. So when I found this girl, as she was narrating about her problem, I told her, I know I have experienced this, and I know your master. So as I was explaining to her, she told me, she confessed, it is working now, I can see. One thing that the devil does, he makes you forget even your dreams, because he has been initiating you in the dreams. He baptizes you in the dream. Sometimes you find yourself swimming in an ocean. You're not swimming, you're being baptized by the demons. Sometimes initiating you, defiling you through sex, defiling you with everything the devil was doing to me. And I thought, this God, when will this come to an end? When will this? And sometimes I am in the house, I feel suicide thought, and the urge would be very strong. I feel like I need to cut myself or maybe stab myself with a knife, and I would cry for help. Lord, help me, help me. Sometimes I would feel sexual urge, and mind you, I'm a single person, so I would feel that sex urge very strong, such that I cannot contain anymore. And I would cry for the Lord. Lord, you know, I hate this, I hate fornication, I hate this, but this is too much for me. Please help me, Lord. So I continue in that situation. Nobody would understand me. I developed anger to everybody. Bitterness, lust was very high in me. But I thank God, the Father that I've come. I even developed urge for women. And I was like, no, this is not me. I am not a lesbian. But I would see a woman passing by and I would feel, and I knew this is not fair. There is somebody else that is yearning for sex with another woman. And that is the spirit of Jezebel. It does that. So to me, it was a tough one. I am not eating. I'm hungry. Always I had stomach issue. I want to be alone. I want to be isolated to people. Nobody would understand me. I remember I once told another pastor that I just told him, can one speak in first tongue? And he was saying, no, it is impossible. And I thought, now this person does not understand what I'm saying. Because to me, I knew they are first tongues. To me, I know the divination, and they're outside there. And one thing to know that you have a divination spirit, it is sexual urge. I don't know the devil uses sexual urge for what, but I know one thing to use you, he bring you immorality in you. So they know I'm not in the light track. I have a problem. I need help. So I continue now seeking for help. And the first time I heard about Elika and whatever she went through, I heard about Apostle James, and I thought, God can deliver me from this. And I remember this quote in Zechariah that even in the deepest pit, the Lord can bring you out. And I started quoting Psalms 42, Psalms 142 verse 7, bring me out of this prison, bring me out of this prison. And each and every door that the devil had been using, if it's unforgiveness, I started forgiving. If it's bitterness, I would tell God, each and every morning I wake up, I forgive, I love, I forgive, I let them go. Lord, I let them go. I would confess each and every time, each and every day. That was my routine. I confess rust. I confess it. This is it. I confess whatever I was going through. And I tell you, day in, day out, as I was confessing that, as I was continue confessing before the Lord, deliverance came. And I would go to my pastor and I would explain whatever I'm feeling. Let me tell you, the reason that my deliverance took long, because sometimes I would go to her, think that she is an angel. I would not even tell her the naked truth, all the truth. I would tell her only the part that she needs to know. The rest I would keep for myself. But that is what was eating me up. That was my bondage. That was the legal right the enemy has. So I decided, is either I speak out or I die. So I decided to speak out. I would speak like a radio. I would tell everything. I have done this. I did this. These are my sins. And we would pray, ask for forgiveness. And as I continued, the Lord would deliver me. The Lord would deliver me. Some people even had offended me a long time ago. The Lord would remind me to forgive them. And I would take time, Lord, I forgive them. Those who had offended, sometimes I would call them, tell them, please forgive me for I did this and this, forgive me. The Lord has been faithful to us. And I can testify today, I am a free person. Today, I don't have the second personality. I am me. I can tell you for sure. The devil is there to steal, kill, and destroy. He stole me. The devil is a spirit. He has no body. He uses our body to survive in this world. He has been using me. Maybe I would be a lesbian on his own mission. Maybe I would be a thief. Or maybe I don't know what I would be. Maybe I would learn mad. Maybe I would be dead. But God, the Bible tells us, for God so loved the world. All this time, I developed now bitterness for God. I was angry. Lord, how would you allow me to suffer all this? And yet I love you. I love you. I would go before the Lord, remind him what I have lost because of him. But the Lord was patient. The Lord was waiting for me to come back to my conscience and know that I had the weapon of the enemy, bitterness, unforgiveness. And I know the Lord was shouting somewhere, telling me, Paris, you are holding the enemy things. Unforgiveness is not mine. You need to let it go. But the love of Father, I remember I would cry and tell the Lord, nevertheless, I love you. I still love you. But I didn't know it is his love that was drawing me closer to him. And one day I came across Isaiah 59 that says, the hand of the Lord is not too short to save, nor his ears deaf. And I said, what? So there's no problem in his side. On his side it is okay. On his side he's a righteous person. On his side there's nothing wrong. So the wrong things, it is on my side. It is I who have failed. It is all this bitterness is for my end. And I started asking forgiveness to God. Forgive me, I didn't know this. I started working on myself day in, day out. Any door that I had opened, I started shutting. If it was fornication, I shut down. If it was lies, I shut down lies. Whatever it was, any door the enemy was using, I started shutting out. I started confessing to the Lord. I confessed divination. I repented. I continue day in, day out. And as I continue, I realize now I can hear the Lord clearly. I was once telling a brother that it is not that the Lord does not speak to us. It is because we are in the wrong realm. We are in the wrong place. You can only hear the Lord where he is. But because we are in the wrong place, in the devil's world, that's where we hear the devil more than the way we can hear God. But if we come to the world, we cross over to the world of God, we can hear him clearly. Because Lord always speaks to us through vision, through dreams. Even in Job, the Bible tells us he's warned us through dreams, through vision. He can send people to warn us. But now, because we are blinded by the enemy, we are deaf, we cannot hear the Lord. But the Lord's arm is not short. It can deliver you. Maybe you are there. You think your life has come to an end. That addiction, it is the weapon of the enemy to bring you down. That whatever you're feeling, maybe you feel like me as if there is another personality in you. You do not understand. Maybe whatever you are doing, you hate it. I would wake up and cry. And I would tell God, I hate this life. I hate me. I hate the situation. I wasn't a fornicator, but now in the dream, I've been molested right, left, and center by the enemy. But the love of God was there chasing me. And as I continue seeking the face of the Lord, quoting the word, reading the Bible, my vision started coming clear and clear, clear and clear, clear and clear. One thing that I knew, I had forgiven one person that had hurted me very much, because for a long time he had been chasing me in the dream, and he had died for a long time ago. But now he never appeared in my dream anymore. So I knew that I'm delivered. God bless you as you listen. And remember, God is more powerful than the enemy. So if you seek him, he'll be found. God bless you so much.